Thank you for joining us for this quick announcement on reopening the church. Again, this is Pastor Mike, Leavittsburg Baptist Church, and I just want to cover a few things about the upcoming reopening of the church. I'm going to be reading some of it, so please bear with me. Sent out a letter. You should be receiving it any day now, detailing these, but I wanted to give some of you who are watching a kind of a preview. So the letter is a little more detailed. We're reopening on Sunday for only Sunday morning service, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. We're going to try to minimize anyone's exposure to anything that would be concerning. So I'm going to ask the ushers to be at the door and open the door for people. And there's going to be some changes in the structure of the services. We will not be receiving an offering by passing the plate around. We're going to have a plate at the back of the church where you enter the auditorium, and you can just put your offering in there. If this continues, I want to try to do something that may be a little bit more private for those who might be a little bit self-conscious about that, but I encourage you to do this for now. We have some plans for dealing with the Lord's Supper, and I've ordered some materials for the Lord's Supper, which will not be this Sunday, but it would be the following Sunday. It would be individual sealed cups with the communion wafer in it, so you can open the communion wafer and then open the cup, and nobody will have to handle the food or the juice. So we have that coming. As far as what we are encouraging people to do, we're asking if you feel sick. And I don't mean if you're just tired, but if you're showing symptoms, in particular of COVID-19, but if you're feeling sick, just to stay home. You're not being unfaithful by staying home when you're sick. But stay home if you're feeling sick. We're asking you to wear a mask. This is what I wear. I have to wear this at work. I just put it over my nose. It goes around my neck, and yes, I go to work and I look like a bandit. But I will be wearing this in the church. I will not be wearing it when I preach because I believe it would be too much of a distraction, too much muffling. But I will be wearing it when I'm out on the floor out of courtesy. We're asking people not to shake hands. If you feel compelled to shake hands, I'm not going to stop you. If I'm not going to offer my hand to anyone, not because I'm afraid of COVID-19, but I want to be sensitive to people's concerns. However, having said that, if you offer me a hand for a handshake, I will shake it. And if you come up and you want to give me a hug, I will return the hug. But I won't be initiating any of that. And we're asking people to be sensitive about that and not to initiate it. But if you do, if somebody initiates it and you don't want to shake their hand, just politely say, I'm not going to shake your hand. And if your handshake was denied, please don't be offended by that. People have real concerns, and so we want to honor those and not make a big deal about it. We're asking... if you feel comfortable wearing gloves, wear gloves. We're not going to require you to wear gloves. We're not requiring a mask. But we encourage you to do so out of courtesy to other people. We're asking that you make sure you wash your hands. I know that's common sense. But, we just want to cover that. If you wash your hands as frequently, you should do that anyways. The nursery will be closed to having mothers just drop their children off. But the nursery will be open if a mother needs to go in the nursery to nurse a child, or if a child's being disruptive and you feel it's best to take them out of the service. The nursery will be available, but only to mothers and their children, or if you're a father and no mother there, you can take your child there as well. But there's not going to be a nursery attendant. We're not going to have junior church. It's just going to be too hard to enforce social distancing with the children, and so we're not going to have junior church. Just think of this as an opportunity to train your children early in how to sit in church and listen to the message, and hopefully they'll learn something from it, and maybe God will change their lives. We're asking that family units sit 6 feet apart from each other. I'm not going to cordon off pews. If it comes to a point where I have to, I will. I don't want to do that. I'm asking you as adults and that you respect the government's recommendations and sit at family units 6 feet apart. You can sit in the same pew as long as there's distance between you. You can sit behind someone kind of at a diagonal or 2 pews back. That's fine. But don't sit right behind each other. I'm not going to police any of this, quite frankly. If I see people congregating, I'm not going to go over and break you up. I'm not going to throw anyone out of the church for not following these recommendations. Everyone is welcome to come to church. I won't be throwing anyone out because they're not wearing a mask, they're not wearing gloves. I'm not going to wear gloves, to be honest with you, but I will wear the mask, except when I preach. But I'm not going to throw people out for not doing that. If you're sitting next to somebody and that person doesn't mind you sitting next to them, I'm not going to break you up. But we want to honor people. We're going to only have the one service because after each service we need to disinfect the common places. And so we don't want to, we could just get overwhelmed with disinfecting with multiple services. And so cleaning supplies, we do have some cleaning supplies, but we want to make sure that what we have can stretch out as we need it, because things like Lysol are getting hard to find. And so we will start Sunday school eventually. We'll start Wednesday night probably before we start Sunday school, but it'll probably be, we're probably looking at late June, early July before we start Wednesday night services. But we'll see how things go. We're playing it by ear. So we're going to be doing disinfecting after, actually before, sometime between services. It won't necessarily be right after the service, but it'll be sometime before, after, between services. I'm asking people not to go downstairs unless you absolutely have to, since we're not having any Sunday school, junior church, anything like that. There's really not any need to go downstairs, so I'm asking you not to go downstairs. We are not going to set a cap on church attendance. We are already at about 10% of our church capacity with our regular attendance, so I really didn't see a need to do that. Keep in mind that these are suggestions, not mandates. If you're bothered by somebody not wearing a mask, just don't go near them. And if you're not wearing a mask and people don't want to be near you, understand that they have concerns, and don't be offended, but consider whether you should wear a mask or not. If you have any questions or concerns, please come see me or see one of the deacons, and we will discuss those concerns. But I encourage you, when you get the letter, to read it, read the whole thing. I know people say I can be long-winded and I can be wordy, but I wrote what I felt was necessary. It is probably a longer letter than what you would hope for, but I would ask you to read that. So I hope to see you on Sunday, and I'm so glad that we can start services again. One more thing is you're going to see a change, another change, and that is we're going to be recording our services and posting them on YouTube. So in the back of the church there will be a tripod with a Sony Handycam on it, and if anyone wants to be the person to operate that, I encourage you to come talk to me or talk to Joe Shelton. Have a blessed day, blessed week, and I will hopefully see you on Sunday.